my fellow book people. Welcome back to Reading Sprints and Chai Sips. I am Sasha Bonet, Sasha to you, and today I don't have a chai, but I do have water, ice cold water. And Winterween is upon us. It is coming. I am 2 days early. So Winterween is upon us, and I have my TBR, and my TBR is fairly small for Winterween. I have never participated in Winterween. I only participated in Summerween once last year, and I had a great time. So if you don't know what Winterween is hosted by Gabby Reed. I will put her link in the description. Every year she hosts Summerween and Winterween, and it's a week-long readathon with about 5 prompts each time, and it's a fun time. Like I said, I've only participated in Summerween and I had a great time last year, so I'm participating in Winterween for the first time this year on this channel. And I wanted to show you all my TBR for Winterween. The prompts, I'm going to put them up so you can see them. I think I can accomplish this Winterween TBR and for these prompts with just 2 books. And that is Death Note Black Edition Volume 3, which I have to read. This is the last one that I own. So it's coming off of my own physical TBR. Again, not spending anything in this video for this readathon. So yeah, this is coming off my TBR. Have to read this one. I am also currently in the middle of the show, which I had to stop after the show caught up to the Volume 2 that I was reading and had read. So now it's time for me to read this one and I can get farther in the show. Next is The Confessions of Matthew Strong, a novel by Ousmane K. Power Green. This one follows the prompt of horror or thriller with a house on the cover. That's this one. And it also tackles the prompt of read a horror or thriller. All of the prompts here can be tackled by these 2 books, and I love that for me. If I could have done it in one, I probably would have. This one is it's a thriller, but it's tackling race and social commentary on that. So I'm gonna read you what a blurb says on the front, because I really don't know what this book is about. It just caught me by surprise. I like the cover. It looked a little ominous, so that's why I bought it. And I got this off of Book Outlet last year. It says, this moving and exceedingly sharp thriller shreds the pretense that America's murderous history is a whodunit and not a we-done-it. And that's by Paul Beatty, author of The Sellout. So I am interested. I am intrigued. So these are the 2 books that I chose for my Winterween TBR. However, I do have a backup book just in case. And the backup book is Man, Fuck This House. And again, it has a house on the cover. I've had this book for a while. I think I bought this, if I'm not mistaken, at Barnes & Noble like 2 years ago. And it's just been sitting on my shelves waiting for me to read it. And it's by Brian Ousmane. And it sounds like a creepy house. So with his highly visual and cinematic world building, Brian Ousmane spins a horrifying and imaginative tale of an ordinary family and their extraordinary new house. I am interested. So just in case this one doesn't pan out, I have this one, or I can just still read this one and just add it on into the pile. But yeah, that's my TBR for Winterween. Let's get into it. It's like salt is coming from the sky. What is going on? Oh my goodness. Are we gonna have snow? Wow. Georgia, what's going on? Good morning, you guys. So it is the first day of Winterween. I just woke up. Actually, I didn't. I've been up for like 2 hours trying to go back to sleep. So let's ask Alexa what time it is because I didn't even put on my Apple Watch. Alexa, what time is it?
It's 7:57 a.m.
7:57 a.m. and I'm up. Usually I wake up around 9, so I'm up and out of bed almost an hour before I'm supposed to be, but that's fine. First day of Winterween, I'm going to make me, I think, some chai this morning. I'm going to make me a cup of chai and breakfast, and then we'll get into our books. So while I'm waiting for my water to boil, I got these Art of Blend artisan beverage powdered chai latte sachets. This is what I'm going to use to make my chai this morning, and I'm still trying to figure out what I want to have for breakfast. Do y'all hear that? I didn't close the tap at the sink all the way. Hold on one second. I also put my house coat back on because it's very, very cold. So my water's starting to boil, but I didn't even bring the books out here. So the books that I showed you in the first clip are the books that we are going to be reading for Winterween. 2 to 3 books, that's it. 2 preferable, 1 just in case. But today is Friday, and I have the people coming to clean the carpets today. So that's going to be a hindrance. Not saying they will be a hindrance, but it'll take up some time during my day because the carpets will need to dry and all of that. But yeah, in the next clip, we'll be reading. So the cleaning service that's supposed to come to do the carpets had to reschedule because it is coming down snowing in Georgia. New development. Georgia don't really get snow, at least where I am. Light layer. So I'm still dressed, but I put back on my house coat because it's a little chilling. So you might also hear the little heater in the background for our toesies. But yeah, the Winterween has begun. And I started with Death Note. It would have been cool to have it on, right side up. But Death Note Volume 3. I'm only on page like 12. I just started it. So I'm going to continue to read this. And then I'll be able to get into the other books. But I'm at the part where they have taken Light into custody. Because of Ryozuki thinking he is Kira. Is that his name, Ryozuki? Yeah, Ryazaki. Ryazaki took him in, had him brought in because he thinks he's Kira, which we know he is. And his father wants to come off of the task force, but that's where I am. So, I'm going to read this. And while I'm reading this, go grab your book, a snack, a drink, and we'll read together. So I told y'all that it was raining earlier, and I'm not raining, it was snowing. And I thought it was going to turn into rain. It hasn't. So we have about an inch of snow, and it's a little magical, just a little bit, just a little bit. But anyway, I don't know. It snowing made me kind of want to take a nap. So that's what I've been doing all day. But I recently woke up. I grabbed me a V8 Energy, and I've been reading the Black edition of Death Note Volume 3. I am on page 98. This has become so freaking unserious and funny because Misa being like infatuated by Light, and then L being confused and depressed that he couldn't find out who Kira was because he wanted Kira to be Light, and then Light wanting to, or feigning wanting to help L find out who Kira is. But I think he actually does want to know who's doing the extra killings and stuff, because he knows it's not him and he knows it's not Misa at the moment. So, and I want to know which one of the 8 at that company is doing the killing now for the Shinigami that Misa had. It's a lot. But yeah, that's where I am in here. And I am about to make me some lunch. And then the dog just came in from outside. But I'm about to make me some lunch and then get back into reading this. So my book of the month box came, and I thought I'd share with you all what I got. Oh, it came with a little booklet this time. I've never seen one of these in here, but my eyes are a little dry. I need to put some artificial tears in. But for the month of January, I chose A Killing Code by K. Alice Marshall. I've read 2 books by K. Alice Marshall now, and What Lies in the Woods I enjoyed. I think I gave it a 4.5. And then the other one, No One Can Know, I did not like. So I thought third time's a charm, hopefully. And then I chose The Maid by Nita Prose. I heard it's pretty good. And I want to see. So that's what I got in the bookmark. So that's what I got in my book of the month box. I thought I would unbox it with you all, since I am not like other people. Like, I cannot let the boxes pile up. When the boxes come in, and since this will be in 2025 so far, the only book box that I am, subscribed to. Yeah, I don't like the boxes to sit around. I need them to be open. I need the books to be logged on my TBR and all of that, so I know what I'm working with immediately. I'm kind of A-type when it comes to that. So yeah, now that they're open, I'm going to log these 2 books on my TBR. And one of my goals for the year of 2025 is to read 6 of my Book of the Month books. I have yet to read a Book of the Month book this year. Maybe one of these will be one of the ones that I read. But yeah, in the next clip, I'll probably be telling you about probably my halfway thoughts on Death Note Volume 3, which is not really a lot. Or I might just come back and have finished it. We'll see. But it's only day 1 of Winterween. And this year I'm not trying to rush through any books. Even though I set the goal for 221 books this year, on average, that means I should read about 18 books a month, which is usually not a problem for me. But I do realize that the last week of December, I didn't read anything, and I enjoyed it. I didn't read anything. I didn't listen to anything. I didn't pick up any books. Didn't think of any books. The only caveat to that is the day after Christmas, the 26th, I was in the ER and I listened to an audiobook because I needed something to help take my mind off of my breathing and just being there. But it was only a 2-hour book that I listened to. It was like a novella. Yeah, that's the last book I read in 2024. And only for that reason. But yeah, it's taken that week off to let me know that I can slow down, and I have. So we'll see if 221 is actually met this year, but I don't mind if it's not. So in the spirit of Winterween, I'm trying to pop in Pet Semetary. Give a little horror in the winter, especially since Augusta, Georgia is going through some weather things. So I popped in the DVD. Let's try. Pet Semetary is one of my favorite horror movies. The first one, the original, from when I was a child. It used to scare me to death, screaming and running into my mother's bed. So let's watch that.
Is it? It's a triple, and groundbreaking moments are all available on DVD.
Take us out of orbit, Mr. Sulu, and walk back to work.
Including the original series,
Mr. Scott, ready to beam up.
The Next Generation,
Engage.
Deep Space Nine,
Fire at will.
Voyager,
Energize.
So I just finished watching Pet Semetary, the original. And then I say every time, Perfect is going to embarrass me, drinking all loud. But anyway, I just finished Pet Semetary. And I've always watched Pet Semetary with the thought that that's not my type of ish, right? Like, I couldn't be caught dead doing anything like that, right? Now, as a 40-year-old woman who has a child, my child is grown, but as a grieving father and a grieving husband, a person who loves their family, right, and loves their wife, or me, loves my family, loves my kid, would I have done some of the things or all of the things that he did? I have come to the realization I would have. When my daughter lost her pet, oh, I would have brought him back for her. And if I would have lost my daughter after that, I would have. But see, she's older, so the craziest part is, because we were just talking about it, and I was like, the craziest part is if she would have come back, Gage was a goner, right? Because he was little, even though he was whooping his father's ass for a good 2 minutes. But me and my daughter are height equivalent, right? So we'd have been fighting. I got asthma. She'd have killed me. So I'd have brought her back just for her to kill me. And I'm fine with that. I am absolutely fine with that. But anyway, that was me incorporating some... He thirsty? Yeah, but that was me incorporating some horror into my Winterween. Now let's get back to reading these books. Hey, you guys, I don't remember what the last clip was, but today is day 2 of Winterween, and there wasn't much to update you with all day because I was in bed all day. After I watched Pet Semetary last night, it was kind of like I popped in my Christmas present, which was DVDs, and it's a reason why they were DVDs. It was for nostalgia purposes. So I popped the first disc in, and I just watched that and laughed until I fell asleep. But I slept all day. I think I really needed the rest. But anyway, so today I finally finished Death Note Volume 3 by Tsugumi Ohba, and the artwork is by Takashi Obata. And I actually like the artwork in Death Note. I finished this. I think I'm going to give it a 3.5, which is not bad at all. I am enjoying these. These are the Omnibus versions. So this has 5 and 6 in it. And I think there's 3 more Omnibus that I need to buy. This was the last one that I owned. But in this one, we are following still Light Yagami. I think that's his name, his last name. But we're still following Light. And Misa is still outrageous, and L is still a weirdo. Okay, for the life of me, the word Shinigami was escaping me. But Light Shinigami was not present that much in this book, but Rem, Misa's old Shinigami, was. But I'm not going to give it all away if you have not read the other 4 volumes or 2 omnibus. But in this one, L is still not completely on board with the fact that Light was never Kira. So he's still functioning under that assumption, even though he wants to be friends with Light and all of that. But I enjoyed this one. I finished it, giving it 3.5, and I'm going to show you what prompts these hit. So this book hit the prompts of read a book that's over 5 years old, which it is. I believe it was originally published in Japan in 2003, and then it was translated for English, I believe, in 2011, which would still make it 5 years old. Also, read a manga, novella, or listen to a spooky audiobook. This is a manga, so those are 2 of my prompts down. I still have 3 more to go, but we also have 5 days of Winterween left. But today, this is all I'm going to be capable of doing today. There will be no more reading. I sat down and just, plowed through this starting like 2 hours ago. So I finished this, and now I am going to, for the rest of today, I'll be having a seafood boil, and I will be watching The Walking Dead, catching up on Netflix. And let me know in the comments which season of The Walking Dead is your favorite, if you ever watched it. If you never did, what is your issue? Catch up, please. Because there's certain things that I like to talk about. I'm gonna put this down. There's certain things I like to talk about. One is books. The other is The Walking Dead. Other shows as well, like Black Summer. Have you ever watched Black Summer? Watch Black Summer. Z Nation. That's another one. I'm a fan of zombie shows and movies. Hey y'all, we have come to the end of my Winterween video because I finished my 2 books. Now you may be saying, in the last clip you were reading a book, you never gave us updates. What happened? Well, here, let me tell you what happened. I finished the book. Let's just wrap this video up right here with I finished Winterween. I finished both my books. I completed all of the prompts. I checked them off. And Though there were no 5 or 4 stars, I still had a good time because I got to participate in the readathon. I still want to say read along for some reason in the readathon. So let's do a quick little wrap up. Death Note Black Edition Omnibus with volumes 5 and 6. Volumes 5 and 6 are in here. And this is volume 3 Omnibus by Tsugumi Ohba. And I gave this a 3.75. It is still so good. The shenanigans they get up to, the Shinigami, Light, L, Misa. It's just, it's a whirlwind ride of trying to find out what are the next steps for Light and this Death Note. Because right now, when we're in this book, Light no longer has the Death Note. Misa no longer has the Death Note. And if you know anything about Death Note, you know that once the Death Note is no longer in your possession, you lose your memories of your Shinigami and anything that happened pertaining to the Death Note. So I can't wait to pick up volume 4 and see how Light and Misa get back to owning their Death Notes, because right now they don't have them. But I gave this one a 3.5, 3.75. It was really good. I can't wait for the next one. Then we have The Confessions of Matthew Strong by Ousmane, K. Power Green. And this book, hear me out. Okay, so if you liked these 2 books, which are The Jackal and Ace of Spades, then you would like this book. Needless to say, I did not like these 2 books, The Jackal and Ace of Spades, so I also did not like this one. A lot of times, these books, these 2 here, and this one, they have something that irks me to my core in them, and it is intuition, right? Everyone has intuition. Everyone has a gut feeling, whether it's to cross the street when you see something that just puts you off a little bit, gives you a little prickle in the back of your neck, that touches you and says, girl, guy, you might want to cross the street, or don't cross the street right now because the cars are acting kind of funny, everybody driving kind of weird, or whatever it is, right? Everyone has a little intuition in them. And yes, hindsight is 2020. That saying pertains to a lot of us because we've seen something and we've ignored our intuition, our gut feeling, and we go with something else just because we'll brush it off. I ain't got time to walk the 2 extra blocks. I'm going to walk down the alley kind of thing, right? So I get the hindsight. But in these books, hindsight is always 2020. It seems that no one in these books ever has any intuition. And that is where you would have to suspend your belief in reading these kinds of books, because you mean to tell me that, okay, let me back up. This book is basically a professor who has moved away from Alabama. She's from Alabama, and she wants to keep her distance from Alabama. Her mother went missing when she was a young girl, and her grandmother and her sister still live in Alabama, still close with the community and everything like that. But the community that they grew up in is a very racist, almost segregated community. And in the years to come to pass, white people and black people get along a lot more, cohesively, per se, if that's the word I'm going to use. But she's up in New York, having big fun with the wretched. No, if you know where that's from, put it in the comments. But she's up in New York. She's older now. She's married, but she hasn't come back in like 10, 15 years. Even when she's on talking tours as a professor, she never stops in to see grandma, grandpa, sister, family, nieces, nephews. She don't do that kind of thing. And they all feel like she kind of like sold out her family, sold out her heritage, her people, her community, by always trying to placate the white people's side. She's up in New York as a professor, and she starts to, one of her old students goes missing. She starts to get letters saying, hey, I know you, you don't know me, but I like the way you think. And it's always signed Matthew Strong, right? So the police are now involved looking for this missing student. She goes back home because her grandmother has passed away. And now she's getting letters down there as well. At no point does this woman think something is not right here. It never seems to occur to her. Even when her husband says, maybe you might want to bring your ass home, it don't occur to her then. Somebody says, hey, you want me to walk with you? It doesn't occur to her then. She doesn't call a car to come get her. But she gets in a car and goes, wait a minute, I didn't call a car. What? What do you mean? Why are you getting in cars you know you didn't call? And this book is told in timeline form. So she's telling her story after the fact. So she knows already what's going to happen in this book. So she's saying, I would have known that, or I should have paid attention to that. So again, hindsight is always 20/20 in these stories. There's never a point where I'm going to run the other way now and think twice about it later. It's always hindsight is 20/20. And it's, like I said, it's done in timeline form. So it goes 15 days before my abduction. And then it goes day 1, day 2 of my abduction. Then it goes after my rescue, and all of that. This book was not for me. The reason why I'm giving this book 3 stars is because The Confessions of Matthew Strong wasn't strong enough for me. I wanted more. Like the placating of white people doing the things that white people do. Oh, they were displaced, or they felt displaced, so that's why they're angry with black people. They went from owning slaves to now having to work for themselves. Poor them. I don't give a fuck. And it's always the mention of things that shouldn't be mentioned when we're talking about certain topics. Like it's brought up in here where Matthew Strong is not pleading his case, but telling our FMC, who is not a very strong FMC in the least, but is telling our FMC about how people have to basically learn to do what's best for the majority and not just a small group of people. He was like, how the black ones in Africa were selling their own kind to make sure they didn't get enslaved as well. And it was like, what? I what? I was so confused. And this is a black author that wrote this, so I'm just like. And the Ousmane K. Power Green is the director of African Studies of whatever college that he works at. These type of books are not for me. I am tired of the narratives that they kind of start to put forth that woe is me in this place that I have put myself, but I'm complaining about it on a daily basis. You are around people that do not like you, but you continue to put yourself there and then complain about it. I don't like those type of stories. Anyway, I give this book 3 stars just because the information, the premise was good. There's good bones here. That's why I bought the book, because I wanted that kind of story, the kind of story that would grip me. But we didn't have a strong FMC. There was an underlining plot, like a D-roll plot of her husband possibly cheating on her. It just was a lot of underlining stories that I think we didn't need. And those underlining stories could have been taken out and made room for more, just more. I wanted more, and this book didn't give me more. So that's that. But I finished Winterween. Though the books weren't 5 and 4 stars, like I said, I still enjoyed my time participating in the readathon. And I cannot wait for Blackoween, which is in October. I can't wait for Summerween, which is in June or July. And next year's Winterween all over again. So thank you all for joining me. Let me know if you read manga, if you've watched the show Death Note or the movie, which I've watched neither one. Well, I've watched some of the show up to where I was with manga volume 2. So if you've watched the full show, let me know in the comments. And have you read Jackal, Ace of Spades, and The Confessions of Matthew Strong? Let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye.